So I want to give you an opportunity here on our Kickstarter to get involved in this project, to become a part of its development. We have enough self-funding to create a core viable product in Ashes of Creation, but we really want to expand it. We want to make it bigger and better, and we know we can achieve that with your help.
So that statement didn't age very well now, did it? So I've just heard the news that Ashes of Creation, the in-development MMO, has basically just imploded. So this really sucks, guys. This is an in-development MMO that is now dead in the water, and I don't see it recovering from this. This is it. It's over. I covered this about a month ago when it first hit early access. I went in, paid my money, and give it a go, and I was very disappointed with what I found. The game has obviously had a lot of work put into it. It's been in development for 9 years, but unfortunately there were so many parts of the game that were still bare bones and just needed so much more work. The combat felt good, the overall world looks okay, but things like crafting, things like the node system, which was functioning but not finished, things like textures just missing off certain things, the rivers just seeming barren and empty. The game just needed a lot more work, and given they're already spent 9 years developing this, and they were aiming for a subscription model, I was severely worried this game wouldn't make it to release. And even if it did, it wouldn't last very long with the monetization model they were hoping to use. So I think the basic timeline is this, that at the first sign there was trouble was, I think a week ago, 9 people were laid off, and lots of people were asking questions and wondering why these people had been laid off, and was that a sign that things were not going well within Intrepid. And then this morning, very early on, we started to see LinkedIn posts popping up with people advertising their position and looking for work. People who, as far as we know, were still working within Intrepid. So that wasn't a good sign. Then Margaret Crone, the lead community manager at Intrepid, she put a statement on LinkedIn, and she said, "Well, this chapter has come to a close. My time at Intrepid Studios has officially ended. To the Ashes of Creation community, you were some of the most passionate, dedicated players I've ever seen in the industry. I genuinely wish I could have done more for you. I gave everything I had and did my very best with what was within my power. And I ask one last favour of you. Please be kind to the developers. We are people who have families, who have just lost our jobs after pouring our hearts and souls into Ashes of Creation." And then she goes on to thank her team and basically say goodbye to the community. Now, I believe this woman was very well regarded from everyone who came in contact with her. So this is really sad. And I think we have to remember this first and foremost, is no matter what happens, whether the game gets refunded or what happens to the game from now on going forward, I think the big takeaway is that over 200 people have lost their jobs. And the worst part is, this is something they've been working on for nearly a decade. And that's the human cost, isn't it? These people have now lost their security, and they're back in a job market that is increasingly light on positions. So I really do feel for these people, and I wish them all the best. I hope they find jobs and work soon. Now, a friend sent me a link to a Reddit post this morning which is covering the Ashes of Creation cancellation, and I believe this was posted on Discord by Sharif. So I'll read Stephen's statement out. "I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity and not on behalf of the company regarding this situation. Control of the company has shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign in protest rather than lend my name or authority to the decisions I could not ethically support. Following my resignation, much of the senior leadership team also resigned. Following their departures, the board made the decision to issue a WARN Act notices and to proceed with mass layoff. I cannot responsibly speak to the further details of this at this time, due to an ongoing legal and governance matters. What I can say is that the developers and staff acted in good faith and deserve better than this, the uncertainty they are now facing. I am incredibly dismayed at the situation. Sharif." So while I've been aware of Ashes of Creation, in the last couple of years, I've noticed like an increasingly loud number of people talking about the game being a scam, and also referring to Stephen's prior work in whatever he did, saying that he's a scam artist. And I don't want to talk about that right now, but in terms of this game, we played it. We logged on, we played it, we ran around in it. It had characters, it had work. You can see the game. In terms of the game being created and existing, it wasn't a scam because it was created, at least partially anyway. So that I don't think was a scam. However, if Intrepid knew the game was going to collapse, it wasn't going to make it, and so they released the game onto Steam in order to say, hey, we released it, so now we don't owe people refunds, and to get a bit of extra cash before the game implodes. If they did that, then that part of this conundrum is definitely a scam in my eyes. If they knew damn well that it was not going to make it, and they just did this to grab some cash, and also to avoid doing refunds, then I am going to be angry about that. But obviously this is early days, people are still getting all the information together and working out what's happened, so I'm sure in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, more information will come forward. Maybe some ex-employees will speak out, but for now everything's just being collated and we don't really know a great deal other than the basics. So yeah guys, this is not a good week for MMOs. Unfortunately, we've lost quite a lot in the last 12 months, and this was meant to be one of the big ones. This is meant to be one that maybe brought the genre back into the limelight and showed other developers that they could make a success out of this genre. As I mentioned in my Guild Wars 2 review, faith in MMOs is absolutely key for them to succeed. If people don't feel like an MMO will be around for more than a couple of months, then people will not invest time and money in playing an MMO because it's a long-term investment. People want to build a character. They want to be able to have a couple of months off and then come back and maybe next year and try it again. And increasingly now the pressure is put on these longer MMOs like WoW, like Guild Wars 2, like Final Fantasy 14. These now are the refuge of MMO players of old, like myself, who still love playing in this genre and yet just can't seem to get a new MMO that we want. So I just wanted to finish on a more positive note, because obviously this is quite upsetting news for anyone who is wishing to play the game. I do think that MMOs still have this huge potential to be a part of gaming, and the genre itself, I think we could still see the best of it yet to come. There's so many ways we could evolve the blueprint of MMOs into maybe a different hybrid, including other genres. There's so much more we could do, and I genuinely believe that this will happen someday. But for now, we'll just have to keep our eyes on the horizon and keep hoping. And speaking of MMOs, I'm going to head back to Guild Wars 2 now and carry on my playthrough. So I hope you're all well, guys. Take care, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.